Get some folks in here. So as we get some folks in here in the room, man, I was on my way to dinner and I'm just gonna go pick up some food, and I saw the family release of the news of Jeff Beck, and being a guitar player, I mean, obviously he's monumental. Uh, but I think Jeff was interesting because as a guy, um, he reached non-guitar players, and his music reached out beyond the realm of us impressing ourselves. And you guys know what I mean by that. We as guitarists, we have a tendency to play to our constituents. We like to make music that only other guitar players listen to. We love that. Jeff made a career and a life and a contribution to art and music that went beyond the realm of us guitar players. He reached so many people and made so much great music that was crossed over pop culture. You know, Rod Stewart or the guest solo on the Bon Jovi song, or like, I mean, obviously Ended His Lovers, the collabs there with Stevie Wonder and man, it's just, I just saw him in Louisville, and it was with Johnny Depp, and he had an amazing house band. I can't remember the young lady's name on bass, but I feel like maybe she played with Prince or something to that effect. I think it was Annika on drums. And wow, man, I was just blown away. I'm so fortunate that I got to see him live. So blessed. I wanted to just come on here and just talk. I didn't want to play the guitar. I don't think there's anything that I can contribute musically to this scenario. I just wanted to talk to you guys and remember the greatness that he had and the impact he had. This video's not monetized. You're doing it for the clicks. You're doing it for the money. No, the hell I'm not. No, I'm not. I remember when Van Halen died, Tony Rice died. There's always some booger that's going to jump in and say that. No, man, we as the guitar community, especially the guys that make videos and live stream and stuff, we do this because we love music. And guys like Jeff are the reason we love music. And it's a disservice not to celebrate that. The moment that he passes, the moment it's a disservice not to get on here and talk about it. And let's talk about our favorite Jeff Beck moments. I'm looking in the chat here, and Nesbitt's saying, saw Jeff live with B.B. King. Music flowed from him like I've never seen before. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that's so interesting. I love that Jeff Beck lived absolutely like on the edge. And, I think I say this, and you guys will know what I mean. Not every performance was the most monumental performance, but that the ones that was because he lived so close to the edge of it, And I'm an odd man out. A lot of people will say Blow by Blow as the one, I have to say Emotion Commotion. That is the record. And the inspiring thing too is Jeff was 78 years old and playing better than he's ever played in his life. Like, how does that happen? I don't mean this disrespectful to our comrades and our guys that are out there in the game, but a lot of guys get to a certain point and they level off, and they only have those hot years in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and then they start leveling off. Jeff never leveled off. Like, he never leveled. It was just like to the stratosphere, to the moon, baby, all the way. And every performance, every album just kept getting more and more incredible, right? Like I really mean that. I mean, my favorite record is Emotion Commotion. His version of Nessun Dorma really resonated with me. I'm a big Pavarotti fan and three tenors and all this stuff. And hearing him do that, I was just like, wow, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard. The Somewhere Over the Rainbow that he did, I'm at a loss. Hammerhead, I think, is on that record. And then, of course, there's Beck's Bolero. There's all these, all these other tunes from his earlier years. But I just wanted to get on here and kind of hang out and talk about what made him great. It's the things that we all know. He didn't use a pick. He didn't, it wasn't like he was a shredder, but he totally shredded. I think shred gets a weird connotation that means you play fast. I always use that term to describe that you play well. And well doesn't equal fast, right? Playing really great doesn't mean you have to play fast to play great. And Jeff was able to evoke so many sounds out of a guitar. Now, he used a couple of pedals, and when I saw him at Louisville, he had some kind of crazy octafuzz and something he was stepping on every now and then to kind of send the guitar into blown up amp territory. But in general, the guy just with a Strat could just do all kinds of really interesting things with the bar. I mean, that's a big reason that I went to the floating setup. When I first got a tremolo, I was obviously a Van Halen fan, and I had it decked to where it wouldn't go back. It would only go down. But I over the years, I went to the floating thing, and it was because of Jeff. It was so vocal, how you could manipulate that, and watching him, navigate little harmonics and little things across the fretboard. It's like almost the guitar was the effect pedal. The guitar itself was the effect. Not relying on gadgets and gizmos galore. But man, I'd be interested to say, I'm seeing a lot of guys say this caught me by surprise. I think it caught a lot of us by surprise. I actually was just, it was a friend of mine sent it to me, and I was like, no, that's not real. And then just moments later, the family released the announcement. Wow. It just really caught a lot of us by surprise. Yeah, terrifying, Harlan. Yeah, it was just, he was terrifying. Like, the guy just had a command across the guitar that just, he was just able to do all the things and connect. Here's what it is, in my opinion. He was able to connect, his essence and his creativity instantly to the guitar. I really envy that. I think that's the thing that we all work towards. We all strive to be able to live in the moment. If you're an improviser at all, I like improvisation. I write my tunes with moments in the songs to be like, this is where I improvise. That's the spot, because I like that. Even in composition, I like to have moments of improvisation. And when you're improvising and you're shooting from the hip and it's ready, fire, aim, you just hope that you can connect your essence and your personality and your emotions and your thoughts, and turn them into sonic textures. And I think it's beyond rhythm and harmony. I think that's one thing that transcended. Like, if you guys are, you're on, I see some names that are in the Patreon and in the Woodshed, and guys that have come to the camps and stuff. You guys have heard me talk about the three things that makes up music, right? It's rhythm, it's harmony, and then it's timbre, or tone, whatever you want to call that word, sound, right? And in collegiate classes and music schools and live streams and YouTube videos, we as instructors or flag bearers of the instrument, we love to talk about rhythm because it's irrefutable, right? This is a 16th note. This is a triplet. You can kind of not argue it. That's triplet or it's not, right? We love to talk about chords. We love to talk about harmony because it's irrefutable. This is a G. This is a minor 9. This is altered. Or it's not. Or it's not, right? Those are factual kind of things. That third one, timbre, that's a real booger to talk about when you're trying to share knowledge on the instrument, or you're in college or school or taking lessons from somebody. Nobody really wants to jump in that water because you can't teach someone what sounds good to them. They either like it or they don't. The sound is like they like the sound or they don't like the sound. Guys have really shrill, thin tone, and it's really cool. Early Paul Gilbert, that's a really Razor-like tone. Other guys have dark tone. Like I know I'm a guy that prefers a dark, syrupy kind of tone. I mean, I think that's coming from the Eric Johnson class. I was just trying to check out the chat too. That last thing, sound and timbre, that's the thing that Jeff lived in. He really triple downed on that. You know, there's the harmony. Yeah, he was playing some cool stuff harmony. Yeah, he's playing some cool stuff rhythmically. Yeah, but that tone, that sound, it's not where he set the amps. It's not the pedal. It was what he could do to manipulate the string and truly play this in a way that's not like a piano. We guitar players like to put our fingers down and make the notes and it's just like a piano, just rolling notes around. Jeff was so great about manipulating everything and bending it and making something just real rubbery and not delivering a note as a piano would, which you press the key and it makes the note, right? It's just, I think that's the thing that makes it great to me, was the fact that he just tripled down on sound and tone, expressiveness. Here's the other thing, man. Jeff just had a way of writing great music that connected to people that did not play the guitar. He also had a great ear for choosing things to cover that would speak to people. Ended His Lovers is not a Jeff Beck tune, but to us it is, right? It's like that Ended His Lovers is very much like a Hendrix doing Watchtower, right? That's technically a Bob Dylan tune, but not to us. It's a Hendrix tune at this point, right? So it just shows that Jeff had a knack for finding something beautiful in the world, bringing it into himself and changing it and put it back into the world. I love the troll over here with the clown faces. It's it just shows how ignorant, some of the people in the world are. I just don't get it. I don't get it. So what are you trying to prove with the clown faces? That I'm going to acknowledge it? Congratulations. If you're saying Keith Richards is greater than Jeff Beck, like, what does that even mean? It's like, you can't, that's like saying, steak is better than a pizza. It's like, no, it's not. It's just different things, man. Like, it's okay in the world of guitar to say that this guy sounds like this guy and this guy sounds like this guy. There's no better or worse or best than. I'm trying to check out the other moments in the chat so I don't focus on the wrong things. I mean, Bull here is saying that you made me love the Strat and its trim system because of the vocabulary it provides. That's it right there, Bull. The tremolo, the arm, it's just like what he could do with that was just it was making the guitar this he didn't need an effect pedal if he had this, right? Just able to manipulate and bend. Every note was exciting to me when I listened to Jeff play. And again, I got to see him in Louisville. I think it was maybe October 20 something. A friend of mine, Travis Toy, a fantastic pedal steel guitar player. If you've seen enough of my videos, you've probably seen Travis on stage with me. We worked together in Rascal Flatts and various other acts. I called him and I said, "Hey man, Jeff's playing in Louisville. It's with Johnny Depp. We should go. He's getting up there, man. We got to go." I didn't think it would hit me by surprise like this. And immediately when I found out, I started texting Travis and I saw the bubbles come up where he was texting me. We were both like, dude, Jeff, it was an amazing show. And it was just again, the stage volume was ripping, which I really liked. Like, you could really just tell that the PA was there for the bass and the keyboards and the drum kit, because Jeff's stage volume was just peeling the paint, PA was trying to keep up with him. But it was just amazing how he could just coax, like just the simplest thing right out of the guitar, and bend into it and bend over here, and the harmonics. It was just like, now let's talk about all the players that he influenced, man. Like one of the greatest moments of my adult life, and I really value this friendship, is with Mr. Timmons. And, Timmons, to hear him talk about Jeff, you just could see the joy that Jeff's music brought to a guy like him, and how that funnels to the rest of the world through his music. And that's Mark Lettieri. I was just talking to Mark on chat. He and Ben Eller and I have a group message, and we were just like, God, what's the deal? We're playing on Shiprock next week, and I immediately text Ben. I was like, which Jeff Beck tune are we playing? I mean, it's just not even an option. Like, what do we got? Like, am I going to do it service? No. Am I Jeff Beck? No. Are we going to play the tune to celebrate the man? Absolutely. Like, I think that's what you do. I don't like it when people are like, here's the thing I'm going to kind of zoom in on. I don't like it when you see guys going, oh, you're just playing that music now because he's dead. No, that's not true. Like, everybody's covered Jeff Beck tunes forever. Like Van Halen. Like, people didn't just start covering Van Halen when he died. Like, that's dumb. Tony Rice, same way. I think it's a little bit short-sighted when folks go, oh, you're only going to play it now because it's like, I think absolutely you're going to play it when he passes, and you're going to continue to play it, and hopefully that connects with somebody and they continue to play it, and it's like, that's keeping that alive. That's absolutely keeping that alive. It's a thing where you just get a loss for words. Really, really, man. Let me ask you guys a few questions. What are your favorite Jeff Beck albums? I think this is going to be good to see in the chat. What are your favorite? Everybody's saying he's in top five players. It's like Steven is saying can't be true. Saw him play with Keith and Rod Stewart. When did it happen? Is it true? Yeah, absolutely, it's true. It just happened. It's just gets you at a loss for words. I wish I had more to say there. Just crazy. I like what Scott's saying. There's a jam in heaven today. I like that. You got Randy and Ed and Jeff Beck and Dimebag Allen. You got Tony Rice. You got the guys that, they're all up there together, man. Jay is saying, I never attempted his music. I like this. I just lost it, man. It's great that you guys are here to hang out and share, because it's really, really, really cool. I just lost my spot. You guys are moving the chat so fast. It's really, really cool to see you guys in here. And we all love him. That's why we're here. I don't have before it all starts, like I said, I didn't put monetization on or anything like that. There's Jay's comment. Jay says, I never attempted his songs because I knew I couldn't touch his expression and how it would sound fake. That's the thing, Jay. I think maybe that's why you should try it. I think that's why you try it. Just to see if you can even come close. And like, it's not a matter of being like, oh, that's Jeff Beck. Of course he is. Of course he is. But if you got to steal one little thing from Jeff, that's worth it, right? If you got to steal one little harmonic bend, that's all we have from our heroes is their legacy, and hoping that we can just steal a couple of % from it. We don't need to ever live in the delusions of that we're going to be them, because we should all try to be ourselves. We should all be our own player. Individuality. That's why Jeff was Jeff. This is the individuality, right? But you could tell he was influenced, and he was just going down that buffet. Life's music, a musical buffet. He was just getting a little piece here and there. He could do some techno stuff, okay, maybe we'll do some blues stuff. Maybe we'll work with this movie star, do a tour with Johnny Depp. I was like, he was just going down life's buffet and just snacking. And I think that's important, Jay. I'm just kind of talking to you, like saying never attempt it. Absolutely, you should go attempt it, man. You should absolutely go attempt it. Paul says he was never a fan of Jeff Beck. I never knew a guitarist that liked him, but his name was always in the, hey, go listen to his music. I think you go put on Emotion Commotion. Absolutely. King of expression, you know, king of expression. Music's not a competition. A lot of wise words over here. A lot of folks are just tuning in and they didn't realize he's passed, right? Yeah. There's no comparing Keith Richards to Jeff Beck. Jeff Beck was the originator, the instigator, the master, the improviser, the maestro. Here's the thing, Scott. I think you're right, but I also think that Keith Richards is Keith Richards. So you can't really do that, you know? I like a 1968 Yanko Camaro, but I also like a brand new Lamborghini Aventador SVJ, and those are nothing alike. They're both cars, but they're not alike, but I like them, you know? A great comment here. Jeff Beck was the king of the Floyd Rose without the Floyd Rose. Yeah. Interesting stuff. Yeah. Hey, Andy, would you want a full-size Helix to make? Okay, we'll talk. Hey, Dustin, I appreciate that comment. Why don't you shoot me an email at 80wood music, and we'll get into that. But tonight is just here for a little bit. Talk about Jeff here for a few minutes. What are your favorite albums? There's a lot of love here for Jeff. What's your favorite albums? I'm just scrolling here, just looking. Man, Jimmy Page and Jeff as kids hanging out at Jeff's house listening to Jeff's older sister's records. Yeah, Blow by Blow. Everybody's saying Blow by Blow. Guitar Shop. Man, if I wish I could find a way to just mute old Cameron. You're the guy nobody likes at the party, man. Like, that's you. You just keep on keeping on with it, I guess. Guitar Shop. People Get Ready. Man, isn't that good? What a great version of that song. It's really fantastic. Yeah, Jason Perry. Go listen to Emotion Commotion. It's the one. Live at Ronnie Scott's is fantastic as well. Man, that is just really, really great. That Live at Ronnie Scott's is really, it's one of my favorites. It really is. I could never put one album over the others. He was so inspired by the Holy Spirit. Every song he wrote was amazing. Yeah, that's a great safe answer. But man, Sahar says, "I love your Dolly shirt." Yeah, you got to rep the ones that inspire you. Dolly's one of my big inspirations, man. Yeah. Yeah, Live at Ronnie Scott's Ended as Lovers. It's fantastic. Yeah. Wired and Blow by Blow. I'm checking out. I've actually got the Blow by Blow album cover upstairs in my living room on the wall. Yeah. Lead Boots. Yep. It's really good. Goodbye Pork Pie Hat. Yep. The Live at the Ronnie Scott's thing is the deal, right? Like that's it. That's the thing. Yeah. Really fantastic. Let's see here. I'm just checking out some options over here. Let's see if we can do something here. I'm trying to, man, I can't, I'm trying to figure out how to, mute somebody, but I can't do it. Yeah, maybe everybody just block that guy. That way we just end that mess. Anything with the Yardbirds. You know what, Sahar? Yeah, you got a good one, man. He's great on the Steve Vai Christmas, the Merry Xmas thing. That was really killer. I really loved that. Yeah. There's really cool like tone and honkiness, in there that's really great. Jeffrey Kabik, I don't know how to pronounce your last name, I'm sorry. He is saying that Stratus, obviously, like every band in the world plays Stratus because of that, right? Because of old Jeff Beck. I think so. Ben Franklin's Ramblin' Ghost, thanks, man. I will play the guitar. I'm not even plugged in, man. I have to have it to like lean on. Just we're not going to do much guitar picking tonight. I've actually got to do a master class here in just a few minutes over on Patreon, and we will be digging deep into this. I'm not sure. Like, I know Rick Beato gets videos taken down and stuff, so I never really put other people's music in a live stream because I don't want them knocked off or whatever. But on my Patreon call tonight, we'll be doing some, the master class will be going all into the Jeff Beck thing, for sure. Yeah, for sure. So Anthony says he saw him a few years ago with Jennifer Batten. Yeah. It's pretty killer. Rice pudding. Yeah, that's a good one. Hey, there's Mark Letary in the chat. Yeah, man, I wish I knew how to like get you in here to hang out. Mark, what's your favorite Jeff Beck album? You and I were just talking on the phone. What is the Jeff Beck album for you that speaks to you, man? It's for me, it's definitely Emotion Commotion. Like when that came out, I just felt like I'd been hit by a truck. It was just beautiful, just absolutely beautiful. Dustin Shank says, my bad. Sorry, not familiar with Jeff Beck. The only performance I've seen was the one where he was getting his mind blown by Tao's bass solo. Hey, here's the thing, Dustin. Isn't that cool though? The guy, like just a master like that could just really enjoy the bass playing from Tao. I'm waiting on Mark to chime in with his favorite album. Yeah. Pete, is that true? About the yellow, the Happy Days hot rod? I know he was a big car guy, and I really am a big car guy too. I love automobiles, and I always thought that was so cool that he would be so active in the car community. Like he would be at car shows and all kinds of stuff. He loved it, man. Really had a kind of a second life in that world. Yeah, good stuff, Elton Temp. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see, man. I think we're all here. We're all here for each other right now, Fender came up with graffiti yellow because Jeff wanted the same color of the hot rod from American Graffiti. That's a nice bit of trivia right there. Randy Heston's in the house. Good to see Randy. Sad day indeed. I feel like there's going to be a lot of beautiful music made to honor Jeff. I think a lot of guys are going to be doing a lot of cool things over the next couple of days. I mean, he impacted all of us. Like all of us, at least all my friends, we all just were like, yeah, Jeff's the best. Now, like, what is everybody else going to do? It reminded me of when Larry Bird did the 3 free throw thing. Like, that's how I look at Larry Bird would say, all right, who's playing for second? Like, I feel like that's the guitar community. We all agree that Jeff's the king. Now who's playing for second best, right? Who's playing for second place? It's true, man. Mark's chiming in with the ones, right? The Wired and the Blow by Blow. But I have a record called Official Bootleg USA 06. Now, is it official bootleg because the rest of us can get it, or is that something I'm going to have to message you and have you email me so I can have it too? Is that something that's publicly available? Official Bootleg USA 06. I would be interested to see that. Recently got the vinyl Flash, which is pretty wild, 80s version. Yeah. Hey, so you're into the vinyl thing. I've been buying vinyl records too, and it's so fun. Like I've bought, the classics that is some Zeppelin. I bought Fleetwood Mac, Rumors, and so stuff like that. To hear it on vinyl, so cool. The Cars, you know what I mean? Like that stuff's awesome on vinyl. There's something really, you guys that maybe like to have a nice bourbon or go a cigar. I'm not a cigar smoker, but I'm friends with guys that love cigar smoking. And there's the whole thing. There's the whole like ritual of, getting the cutter and doing the thing. And like, it's a whole thing. A lot of that same ritualistic stuff is the deal for me with vinyl records. It's like you pull it out of the sleeve, you have this big artwork and you can put it on and the needle drops and it's really, really cool. Mark's chiming in and saying, no, it's real. Bought it from Beck's website. That's killer. Hopefully, the family will continue to offer the full library, and a lot of this stuff will not only continue to be available, but maybe some backlog things will be released, to honor him. I'm sure a lot of things like that are already on everybody's mind. It's just like, we love him. I mean, he was the best. It's just like, all you can do is just really celebrate, the guy's, how inventive he was and how he just was able to bypass all the BS. Does that make sense? Like, not about like what you could do or what you could do or, what you could, it was never about that. He just like bypassed all of it to just make sounds and make music happen. And yes, there was great technique and there was great things going on, but it was always like this byproduct that was kind of not as important as like what was the sound was. Like the really, like the technique was a means to an end. You know what I mean? Like really, really great. Brad is saying Jeff played a great show in Atlanta earlier this year. I was so glad I got to see him. Yeah, I feel that way too, man. So everybody go to Jeff Beck's website and see if they can grab that record that Mark's talking about. He says the first record I had was a compilation I got in high school called Shapes of Things, which was a bunch of his vocal stuff with Rod Stewart. That I do have. I really, really love that too. The People Get Ready, that had the little melody at the top, so freaking cool, that just so freaking cool. I don't even know if that came through the microphone, but I did the lick. I didn't sound like, and shocker, I didn't sound like Jeff Beck, none of us ever will. Nobody has mentioned Rough and Ready. Michael Van Hardveld, probably butchering your last name. My apologies. Sorry on that. Yeah, Rough and Ready. I'm going to be, this weekend is going to be a lot of Jeff Beck for me. I hate that we lost him, but I'm so thankful we had him for so long. And Jeff played till the very end. I think Mark, you'll back me up when I say this, but man, wouldn't we all love to be able to tour up until 2 months before we die, a month or two before we die? Like, I'd love it. That's a dream, is to just play till it's time to go. I think you'll back me on that. Get a little misty-eyed talking about that. 7 Grammys for instrumental performances and an 8th Grammy, 2009, Herbie Hancock's Imagine Project. Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. Jeff transcended the idea of being a guy that played instrumental guitar, and he connected with people, connected with other musicians and people that didn't even play instruments. Unbelievable. And he played till the end. I mean, nobody's here forever. But man, and getting better every gig. Just to the moon. Get better on every gig. Absolutely. It's truly, I mean, it's just, the guy is mesmerizing. Played just until the end, man. Yeah. Paul's saying this. He loved those old Roadsters just as much as he did guitars. Yeah. There's some great stories of guys in the car culture, like not realizing who would be standing next to them at like Barrett Jackson's auction or like at car shows. There's friends of mine that have got stories being like, man, I was just under the hood of this old 442 and kind of looking at something. There was a guy next to me. He was like, oh, yeah, I could tell he was British or whatever. Like, had an accent. And, I'd be pointing at something and the guy's like, oh, it's got this too. And I look over and it was Jeff Beck. And I just kind of like went back to kind of keeping my head down, just talking about the thing. And I mean, he just loved that automotive culture. I mean, I get that, man. I have a passion too. My dad got me into that. And I think it's really, really so cool that a guy could love music and do so much with music, but also have this whole separate life in automotive culture. I mean, how many covers of car magazines and, Car and Driver, Road and Track and all this stuff. And there he would be on the front with some of his old hot rods. I mean, we kind of always think of like Jay Leno, like being the comedian or whatever, the Tonight Show host that would love cars. Jeff Beck was our Jay Leno. He was our car guy. in the world of guitar players. I mean, there's plenty of us, but he was definitely the face of that thing, man. I think of him and I think of ZZ Top, like Eliminator and the hot rod culture and I think that's why I love electric guitar so much. It just holds hands with a lot of the cultures and hobbies that I love. And man, yeah. I love what Mark is reiterating. Mark, I don't know when you jumped in, but it's one of the first things I said. I was like, he never, it's like he never rested on the laurels. It's just like there was always a new path to take. There was something new to kind of dig into, or maybe take a little turn over this way and turn the direction this way. It was really, really cool to see a guy do so much with so many different styles of music. And yet always it sounded like Jeff, Barry Harris, some love from Juby. Barry Harris is saying the same thing. He taught bebop until he died at the age of 91. I mean, that's it, man. That is the goal. Just play until you're gone. Like that's what I want, man. PF, I see what you're saying, man. Lost your brother, lost your buddy and mentor Jess Redmond this year. A huge Jeff Beck fan, has videos on YouTube's covering Jeff Beck. Yeah, man. Everybody go check that out. Don Lennon says, I saw Jeff with Stevie Ray Vaughan opening at the Fox in St. Louis. Great venue, by the way. After seeing that performance, I understood why it was so great. Absolutely, man. Yep. Dill Diggity is saying it's a blessing he never lost a finger working on hot rods. Yeah, if anybody's ever turned a wrench, it's really easy to pinch something or get something burned off or chopped off or whatever, Gary is chiming in with Nessun Dorma. That's the one that kills me, dude. The first time I heard that, I was like, well, now there's this and everything else is just kind of hovering somewhere below it. Sean Tubbs, half of me was like, yeah, Sean's going to chime in here. Sean is a magnificent player and has been an inspiration for me for the past few years. And I love Sean Tubbs' music. And Sean has become a friend of mine over the past couple of years as well. And man, very few people love Jeff Beck like Sean Tubbs loves Jeff Beck. I love to hear Sean play because I can hear that in his playing. And Sean, I'm bragging on you, but man, if you've got a need for that thing, Sean is definitely that emotive type of player. I always say when somebody says, I've never heard Sean, I need to check out his play. And I'm like, imagine if Jeff Beck and Landau had a lot of chops, like a lot of fiery chops and a lot of speed. I was like, Sean's got all that. So, man, it's good to see you, Sean. Nobody played like Jeff. Nobody ever will. The individuality, the way a note was delivered. He just had a thing that sounded like him. And I think that's all we can ever really hope for, is just hope that Mark Letary drives his thing so far that nobody else sounds like Mark except Mark. Hope that Sean drives his lane so far that nobody sounds like Sean except Sean, right? That's what we all kind of strive for, is to sound like ourselves and have a thing that makes us a thing. And I think that comes from our influences. And I think those influences can constantly change throughout life. I mean, I'm a guy that loves Kill Switch Engage, and I love Dolly Parton, right? Like I think influences can evolve. And I think that's what's inspiring about Jeff, is those influences constantly evolved. And he always wanted to kind of be in a different kind of environment. I'm so thankful when I got to see him play in Louisville that he did play, Day in a Life and Ended His Lovers and, Beck's Bolero. Like I wanted to see those songs live. I've heard them a million times and got to see them in a million different YouTube videos, but I wanted to see them live. And thankfully he got up there and just gave me all the fan service. He just gave all the fan service, man. I got to see every one of those tunes played, and I wish, I don't regret my upbringing in bluegrass music and acoustic music, but if I could have the ability to go back in time and have that and still go see Jeff Beck as a youngster, I would do it, man. There's not enough Not enough of Jeff's music in my life as far as seeing him live. I got one performance, but it was a good one. It was a good one. Sean's good friends with Travis Toy as well. Sean actually played on Travis's record. Sean, that's who I went to go see Jeff with. Here's a funny story too. So Travis has a really great sense of humor. And if anybody knows Travis Toy, I know Mark knows him well. His sense of humor is pretty warped and dark, which I personally really love, you know. And we're going up to Louisville, and you know, Johnny Depp's on the bill, and the whole way there, Travis is like, man, what if Johnny plays lead all night, and Jeff just plays rhythm for him? You know, just making these like really dark jokes. Like, what if Jeff only comes out for like one song and Johnny plays all night long, and Jeff comes out and just plays like one of Johnny's songs and then leaves, and that's the gig, right? We was just making all these like crazy comments. Well, we get there and we're parking, and the first thing we see is a guy like running up doing the Jack Sparrow run. He's in full costume. He's got this big hat, and he's got the makeup and the gold tooth and the dreads, and he's dressed like Jack Sparrow. And and Travis is like, wow, huh, wow, huh, huh. And he just keeps making these like weird sounds. We're walking through the line, and the line's like, God, is this the line to get a ticket or get in? We had pre-purchased, right? So we're like, oh, let's go over here and maybe hang out and get a dress. As we're walking through the line, everybody's dressed up as different moments of Johnny Depp. Okay? So you've got Edward Scissorhands. There's people dressed up as Edward Scissorhands. Somebody's dressed up, and what was it, Crybaby? You know, the tear. Of course, there's the Jack Sparrows. So we're getting tickled at this point. Finally, I lean over to Travis. I was like, man, you know, we blew it, right? Like, we really wasted a night. And he goes, yeah, man, we should have come in costume, huh? And I said, we should have dressed up as our favorite era of Jeff Beck. And if there's anything I could redo is like, just, hey, maybe Travis is like the older Jeff Beck with the Indian necklace and the vest and the armband. And I'm like maybe younger Jeff Beck, you know, with the bell bottoms that played the gold top Les Paul. Like that was, we really laughed about that. We'd be sitting in there and like, man, every now and then Travis would be like, man, we should have dressed up as Jeff. We really should have dressed up as Jeff, right? We blew it. I was like, yeah, we blew it, man. Well, yeah, it was a great night. We had a great time up there, and the venue was fantastic. So if you ever have a chance to go see anybody at the Palace, I think the name of it is the Palace in Louisville, or maybe called the Palace Theater or something like that. Go see it. That's where we saw Jeff, and it was fantastic. We had great seats right in front of. I really love to always sit kind of close to the soundboard, you know, because you know so often a soundboard will be on the wrong side of the room or whatever, especially small clubs or whatever. But like we sat close to sound, we sounded perfect, man. Really, really fantastic. Yeah. Deacon's getting like, yeah, Johnny's singing every song with a harmonica. That's the kind of jokes, you know, me and Travis are making all night long. Sounded great though, man. Adam Cave Project says, at Sean Tubbs, I didn't realize you were a big fan of Jeff. Hey man, have you ever heard of Sean Tubbs' video? It's like, I don't think there's as many people that can like evoke that thing like Sean can. Yeah. Really good. Eric Johnson is in here. Not that Eric Johnson. Not that one. But an Eric Johnson. Rest in peace to one of the greatest. He says it's the best Seymour Duncan pickup 2. Long live Jeff Beck. I think it's interesting when guys have a huge impact on the music manufacturing side of things. I always find that a little fascinating. Obviously the JB, you know, the JB pickup, such an iconic kind of thing. Everybody just kind of gravitates for it. My guitar tech is a guy named John Cooper, and John's every guitar he gets, he puts JB. He's just like, man, that's the one, right? That's the one. I love that. That's what I love about Van Halen too, right? He just had such a huge impact on the industry outside of just the playing. Billy Wagner says, where were you? Always makes the hair on my arms stand up. Yeah, so good. Squid's making the smell the glove reference. It's interesting that so much of Nigel Tufnell has the Jeff Beck look about him and the thing, right? So even into the pop culture of Spinal Tap, like Jeff had his influence, right? Yeah. Hammerhead is a great track. I really love that one. I just think it's, so sassy. I think Jeff has got that when he goes for these weird, like crazy bends and spring and flipping the bar to get these, those kind of sounds. Just fearless is a great word, maybe to use talking about old Jeff Beck. I appreciate you guys hanging out tonight. I didn't really have a purpose with this. This was stream of conscious. It was just to get in here and hang out with 243 of you guys and talk about how much we love Jeff Beck. So, man, you got to do the things you love, right? That's a great one, Brandon. Brandon Morris is saying, life's too short not to do the things you love. That's right, man. Yeah, so, man, that might do it. I don't really have anything constructive to say. I don't really have any kind of anything that would bring any contribution to the world. I just wanted to hang out with you guys. That's it. It's a thing where so many of us love a guy and love a guy's music, and we just want to celebrate the dude. Hollywood actress. Hey, Andy, any particular albums, Jeff Beck, if you're unfamiliar with Jeff's work? Hey, that's not a dumb question. We take for granted that everybody knows who everybody is. I would say Wired, Blow by Blow, Emotion, Commotion are your first three. That's the first three you listen to. I don't know if anybody would disagree or agree, but those are the three that I would. You got to go Wired, Blow by Blow, Emotion, Commotion, in no particular order. But that's the three that you lead with. You come out of the gate swinging with those. From there, man, you can find, his adventures with Rod Stewart and his adventures in other facets, Herbie Hancock. And he played so much music with so many different people. I mean, the Yardbirds, there's so much. That's the beautiful thing is like when you look at the body of work, it's so much. I have to say, even as a massive Jeff Beck fan, I'm sure that there's something out there that I've not heard because he just recorded so much music with so many different dudes. Greg Marmon, rest in peace to the legendary Jeff Beck. In my band rehearsal, glad I caught your stream on the way to rehearsal. Yeah, Godspeed. Absolutely. David Bendeth is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. He says, tell them the story, Andy, as you were one of the leaders that has the torch now. We all have a tear in our eye. Man, David, I appreciate those kind words, man. I truly respect what you do and the things that you've done. Fantastic producer. Anybody, just open up album credits and eventually you're going to come across David Bendeth's name. It's the thing where we're just all here, right? He just has that impact that crosses so many genres and so many realms of what guitar music is supposed to be. It's an interesting thing, guitar playing, especially in instrumental guitar music, because you're famous to us guitar players, but you still have no problem going to McDonald's to like order your Big Mac or whatever. It's different than being like Selena Gomez or some kind of crazy pop star, Justin Bieber or something, right? Like guitar players don't get hounded, like those pop stars do. But yet the flip side of that is Jeff is like, he rode that line of like pop culture. Like Jeff Beck is pop culture outside of being this great guitar player. We talked about what he's done with the automotive industry, right? Being involved with those things. Like guys on tour with Johnny Depp, one of the biggest movie stars in the world. Like that's pop culture at this point. It's not even like, you're not even just an instrumental guy. It was amazing. He just turned the guitar into, and again, I'm just shooting from the hip, man, stream conscious, but he just turned the guitar into a way to communicate. It wasn't like he was just playing notes to perform a song. It was like he was just talking to you through the guitar. And again, I loved how on edge he was. He played so close to the edge. There's performances that are not as good as other performances. But it was never stagnant. It was never just a, hey, I'm going to get up here and play my tune and it'll be note for note and then, there you go. You're off. I live in the pop country world often, right? Like my music's not pop culture, but I do a lot of gigs as sideman in that world. And so often it's like they get up there and they play the tunes and it's just like the record and they go home. It's so unadventurous to me, right? I hate to say it. It's like it's so unadventurous versus Jeff Beck being like, this may not land, but I'm going to go for it. I really think that's exciting. And that was just a playing standpoint. The truth is, I don't even know how he got to crossover. Like, what was it? Was it just how far he pushed it? Playing with Bon Jovi, playing with Rod Stewart, it was just like, what made him cross? It was just the fact that everybody, here's what it is. Everybody that heard him felt it. Like whatever that it is that I can't describe. Hey, mark my words, 7:24 p.m. Eastern on January 11th. Mark my words. There's going to be a ton of videos. I might even make a couple of just like things I stole from Jeff Beck. There's going to be a ton of how-to videos on Jeff Beck. Nobody's going to be able to do it. Nobody's going to be able to say this is it, because it's the feeling that people felt when they heard him play that didn't play the guitar. They felt it too. That's the magic. That's the sauce. That's that next level. Not being good at the guitar. That's a really short-sighted way to look at it, right? He's good at guitar. No, man. Like, you felt it. Like, that whole theater was filled with a lot of people that didn't play guitar. There was a lot of people there just to see Johnny Depp. And on the opening song, Jeff gets a standing ovation. And Johnny Depp came on later in the evening, right? And they played together, right? Man. Checking out the chat. Sorry. Lost for words, man, yet again. Enrico says, the first Jeff Beck song you recommend learning to experience his style and nuances. Ended His Lovers. It's got to be. It's got to be. Great. So many people have got great versions of that tune. The really cool one's Dan Huff. Dan Huff's got a really cool version. He's playing it live. I'm a huge Dan Huff fan. I love Dan. Dan, if I ever get to meet you, I love Dan's playing. A really cool version of that. Mark Letary, that was just hanging out with us, man, he's got a killer version of that. I watched that the other day, ironically. Yeah. Crazy how small the circles get, I would definitely say it's if you're getting ready to start playing, it's got to be Ended His Lovers. And the great thing is none of us will achieve the Jeff thing. But if you can just steal one little nugget from his playing, if you're just able to just take one little nugget, man, then that's it. And you know what? If you don't play guitar, hey, who cares? Just enjoy it anyways. If you don't play guitar at all, that's okay. Not everybody's meant to be Jeff Beck, Like, we're not all meant to be Michael Jordan. But, man, it's fun to watch them play, That's the thing. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight. I'm going to sign off, and I'm going to sign into the to do the Patreon thing. Obviously, we're going to be talking about that all night long. Randy Heston, I'll see you guys in a bit. I'll see some of you guys in a bit. Troy, Randy, I want to turn this off and come over there to that platform, and we'll continue the conversation. Brad, I'll see you in a bit. Jay, I'll see you in a bit. And I just want to say thank you guys for hanging out. And it was either sit here and cry or hang out with you guys. So I appreciate all of you so much for hanging out and just being here and being in the chat and sharing that love for, in my opinion, the greatest guitar players that the earth will ever see. And I think it's important that in all of the millions of years that that the earth has been a thing. I think it's amazing that we've been alive while Van Halen was here and while Jeff Beck was here and while Tony Rice was here. I think that's just a miracle. So, man, getting a little choked up. Sorry. Apologies. It's important to me. Guys, hang up. Go listen to Jeff Beck music. Yeah, I appreciate you guys so much.